Hi, I'm Ruben, CEO of the A1 Group. So we're going to start to get now into the sausage making, if you will, of the application and the project. I'm going to bring Larry, who is one of the most valuable members of my team, creative person, major pedigree in creative services in the tri-state area over the last 30 years, Larry Aaron. And he's going to begin to support me as we develop the app and begin to add features to the product and begin really what is an evolution in what the product is going to be, an evolution in the digital side as well as the physical side. So this is going to be quite a complex project. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be making a stand-up pouch, printed stand-up pouch that's been manipulated with AI, printed. From that print, from that image, we're going to create a video. That video is going to be attached to the stand-up pouch using a marker, an augmented reality feature. And then we're going to also sell a printed bandana that goes as an accessory with the product. So the product is intended to be a first of its kind, AI enhanced consumer product. A consumer product that's not something new. It's an existing product that's been morphed. It's been changed somehow with AI. And in this case, it's the creative elements that have been put on fast forward. So we are really expressing ourselves in mass customization here across a couple of different print platforms. And we're bringing it together in a product that lends itself to social sharing. And we're hoping that the novelty of the product itself, the fact that it's driven by AI, the fact that it involves your dog, the fact that it's such a cool product, that will draw people to sharing it, and that will create a flywheel of content, likes, purchases, and really that's what we're hoping for. So we're going to get into the video. Some of them tend to be long, and I do edit them because we go on and we digress and we discuss the details. But if you're interested in how many details go into each one of these components, this is what you're going to see. Each one of these areas is an industry unto itself. I have a lot of experience in a lot of these areas, and in some I don't have very much experience, but I'm going to bring it together. I don't know how to say no. I just keep pushing forward and I don't let anything stop me. So without further ado, Larry Aaron, thank you. Big one is, and it's kind of a overlapping circles thing. We had this digital element of customization and this e-commerce thing, and the e-commerce, and now they're coming, there's an overlapping circle there because we can be good at both, right? And the part of the overlapping circle is, this allows us a tool that we haven't had up to now. Okay, so what do we do? I have a new coffee I'm going to launch this year, right? So I'm going to call the agency and I'm going to map it out. I'm going to map out the development. I got my people working on it. Now it's time for us to do a promo around it or to push it out to the market. So we're going to engage all our usual people and we're going to come up with some sort of a marketing push around this. And then we're going to push it out with all the different things that encompasses. We're going to get feedback, and the feedback's going to come primarily through our retail channel, communicated through an intermediary who knows all the retailers, because we're not in the retail measurement business, we're a CPG. Okay? So we call Nielsen, or we call one of the usual suspects, and we want the information from them. So they don't have it either. They go and measure it at the store. So then they come back to us and they say, hey, you got a 2% lift, you got a this, whatever the metrics are about our campaign, and then we sit down and we retool, what do we do different to this? Okay, so, and that loop has been something we've all been involved in for years. That's the way that our broadcasting model worked in a consumer products context. So now we have access through direct to consumer, we have access to the finite data of the actual customer and what he's doing. We don't have to wait for a retailer, nor do we have to wait for an intermediary firm to translate and explain to us what that meant. And they give us that's what executive summaries were for. Now that loop happens very quickly, right? We have data, we have acquisition, we have purchase, we move them to our subscription, which is our goal, right? To get subscriptions. And so that whole progression we can track really quickly now, because we can bring it down to the finite individual. Now, that didn't used to make sense, because to spend all that much money so that Larry buys Oreos for $3 It doesn't make sense. We need something that's blankets a million Larrys, but because we have a higher margin item where it does make sense, a consumer signing on to our subscription model at the premium rate is worth $300 to us, okay? So over the lifetime of it or something. So that does make sense to put some money into, and to retaining that person with an experience and having that person tell other people about it. And this is one of the areas that I want to start to test. I know that between your network and my network and Greg's and all of the people that we know, we can get a couple of hundred pet owners throughout North America who will sign on to getting a free thing of biscuits. And you're going to get the freebie every month. And all you got to do is just tell two people. Right? It's like the old Wella ad, right? Just tell two people and so on and so on and so on. Because we have the ability to measure that so on and so on and so on communication. And TikTok has built a platform where that's rewarded. But in terms of our initial push, we get 200 advocates at a free promotion, and then their commitment to us is just to communicate that down, but to the next group, and then let that take off. You need enough people and we can do it regionally. I think with 200, 300 people over a couple of months, it's doable, right? Because especially if you're saying, okay, we need you to make us a video of it when it arrives. That's what we're looking for. Make us a video of when it arrives, you opening it, what's your reaction? We don't want it scripted, we just want, and that's all we're asking for in return. That gives us a certain amount of media to push out through TikTok. Okay?
A lot of media.
Yeah. And so I think that that's the way to approach it. We start with our core group of advocates who are going to be getting access to this really cool, project that is a first of its kind. What do you think of something like that? I mean, it would have sounded crazy a while back. It would have sounded like network marketing, but in today's environment, especially given what we have.
Yeah, of course. So after our last conversation, I started thinking about a whole bunch of very open, holistic thoughts that I normally wouldn't think of, because the way things are done traditionally and the way we had to think in the past were for a reason, but now that reason is just what everybody else is doing. So I have a few points to make about it. One is, you kept reminding me in our last call, you just kept saying it, it just over and over again, sort of now stamped on my brain. We're really not about dog treats, right? We're about data and experiences, right? It's about this amazing experience that we give you. That package that we give you is what we're about. It just so happens there's treats in it. And it just so happens you have a dog, and we're happy that we can give you something so cool. But in reality, that's what we're about. Just like JCPenney used to do all the photo services in the country. Everybody would go there with the kids and they'd get their photos taken. And they weren't about photos. Yeah, they can take great photos. They were about memories. They were about experiences. So I kept thinking about that. And here, the more we can get intimate with our first set of customers using the dog treat brand, the more that we collect a data pool so that we launch other brands to people that we already know like this. Like if they already know they like their dog on a dog treat package, we probably have a good chance they like themselves on a tea package, or they like something customized for them. And that means that we have our own research and development within a community of customers. The more we get them to fill out a robust profile, ask them, have little polling that we do. They rate a poll that, hey, would you be interested in a coffee line that does this? That community now is part of this. That data set allows us to launch brands and opportunities off of that initial data pool, versus having to acquire customers every single time for every industry category and brand we want. So I thought about that a lot, Ruben, because a lot of what you said, I kept thinking, yeah, we're about this experience. And if we launch the experience of a photo on a product and we launch it across 10 different brands and industries, there's a very good chance we just get known for that. People want that. They want that, AI, CPG, or whatever, that brand, they want to be powered by that. That was a huge kind of a little bit of epiphany for me, leaving our last call. And then it sort of took me into another space, which is one of the things I wanted to talk about this morning. Yep. So we are talking about the package being the experience. And I said, okay, so let me break out of my barriers. I don't like creating all things in AI. I think a lot of things come out badly. Many people say, oh, it's the demise of the brand designers because you can create a logo in 3 seconds. But most of those logos are very, very bad. They're all low resolution. In addition, you don't know where they're stealing it from. So you could be ripping off somebody's trademark using AI. Like, it just doesn't have that discipline. But so I started, after our call, I went into ChatGPT, I put in star dogs, I gave it my prompts. It came back with stuff. I think I screenshotted it. Yeah, it came back with stuff that you'd expect.
Yeah.
And it was all just okay. But I'm glad I did it, because what that did for me, I actually thought of something. I need to bring it up to show you.
Yep.
It gave me one example. The first example that ChatGPT gave me, I was like, oh, no, that's not what. Yeah. So look at the bottom for a minute, right? It first gave me this, and I looked at it and I was like, God, that typeface is awful. That's cheesy. I hate this freaking logo. But then, Ruben, believe it or not, this is the power of this. I hated this first logo, and I'm like, yeah, my prompt was bad. And then it gave me this. And then I went back to this, and I said, wait a second. There might be an idea here, and the idea is the following. We were thinking it's our brand, but most of the package is their dog. And then I said, wait, hold on. What if we designed the package not as a package, like we're taking it just as a brief of we need a front panel package? The package literally could be the stage for their dog, period, meaning our logo might actually have the photo that they submitted. Because one thing that we have to be realizing, when they give us a photo and suddenly we give them back a package with their dog flying through the air or their dog doing something, it's a little bit not their dog anymore. It is, because AI does something to it, and it kind of maybe 90% resembles their dog, maybe 50%, but it's not their dog anymore. And what I thought about was, what if we designed our brand, better logo than this, because this type is terrible, and it actually puts their original photo that they submitted into our logo. And then the rest of the package will do all the AI stuff with their dog. What that does is it actually made our brand their dog. Yep. The cool thing about that is
yeah, it's kind of like making you the quick man or the eyeliner man.
Yeah, so there's a few parts of this that I was really excited about. One is it lets them see the photo they submitted. So now the relationship between their photo, yeah, that's the photo I gave them. And then we do something cool with their photo. They're both on the package, number one. Number two, it ties them into our brand intimately, subliminally. So I might have mentioned this 2 years ago when we met or so, but you know Build-A-Bear Workshop, right? Yes. Have your kids ever done Build-A-Bear?
No.
So
no.
I don't know how good or bad, what?
I've never done it.
Oh, it's a huge thing in the United States here. You take your kid to a birthday party there, or you take them to a workshop. It's all stuffed animals that you build. So you choose the skin, the outside part. You go over to the fluff machine and the kid stuffs the teddy bear. Well, I don't know how it's still in business, because after your kid's been to 20 of those parties and has 20 stuffed animals, you just want to kind of like... However, there's a marketing phenomena of something it's one of the examples I always use. They do something brilliant. You take a little heart. There's a heart. It's a little plastic heart. And they get your kid to kiss the heart and put it inside of their bear. And then the bear gets sewed up. They've just intimately involved that child in bringing this thing to life. There's a heart in there. They connected it. It's amazing. There's reports on how great this was and what they did with this. Well,
that's awesome.
So I think about that. So I'm going to back up for a minute, and I'll shut up in a minute, but that's important.
No, I love it.
So our brand using their photo, I think, is a next level up. It's one thing to do a package with your photo of your dog AI, great. But having them in our brand connects them to our brand. It almost is a subliminal thing to make them never want to stop a subscription. Secondly,
it's amazing.
So let me walk through a little further. So the one part is using the photo they gave us. I actually think it's more important than we first thought, because there's a disconnect between what AI will do and what their original photo was. Now they get both. But the use of it as part of our brand in this circle just becomes a window to showcase that photo. Well, I'm not going to make it complicated. It'll be a simple window like this, so that any photo is going to work within that circle. Fine. Now they feel it's sort of intimate. Well, we might end up every month I think we make this, gamify this a little. Your dog might be chosen to be on other packages, other specialty packages. Your dog in that photo as our brand. Your dog is now our brand ambassador, right? It now becomes a community thing. People can vote. There's a contest. There's a whole thing. And it's all just fun and play, and people are going to share it. Now, if your dog won for the month or won for the week, you're going to want to share that with other people, right? So that's the viral part of TikTok. You're just going to kind of want to share this out or talk about it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So now when I think about the package front doesn't have to be your standard show the dog treat, basically have the same product information that everybody else has. It could be any kind of stage now for the brand, for this dog doing something. Every theme could be all about whatever this dog is doing, the day in the life of this dog. So, but in this case, it's all contained within a circle. I can't have...
The digital printing, it makes it easy. It makes it even,
Yeah.
you know, hey, dummies like me became leading printers, you know?
So this is a template. We take their photo. The photo gets, you know, cut out in a circle. It's in Photoshop. However, we're going to do it with the team doing it up in Colombia. So it started just getting me to think differently, incorporating people's dog into our brand logo and name. That's never been done. Ruben, there's nothing. When I started looking after our call, I'm like, no, nobody's done that. How would you do that? How would you ever do that before? You couldn't. All they would do is put your dog on the pack like that thing in 2014 that they
Yeah, I mean, you know, the more data they give us, the more we can incorporate it in different fields. Some of the stuff with text variability has been done before, where you could put the dog's name in the back romance copy in a few places, or you could incorporate
text.
it in other ways.
Yeah.
Nobody, you know, the idea here, of course, is that image personalization and customization is something that hasn't been done. That's really the new innovation. And so, similarly, you know, everything has its technological step, you know, and with the cell phones, you know, we used to think that getting a text message was awesome. And then the first time you were able to send an image versus a text, right? And look what it did to the advent in social media. Social media was nowhere until images began to be shared. Okay.
Yeah.
Until you could, and then the videos, of course, took it that next step. And the innovations will continue there. We're stupid to think it's going to stop there, right? It's just, what is the technology going to allow for? And most of it is really hardware related. We tend to think of things in a software social adoption environment, but it's only very recently that you could do live videos on these things and not choke up. And the fact that you can be in traffic in Los Angeles with literally 200,000 cars around you, everybody streaming videos, and it's seamless. It's a marvel. There was a period in the 90s when using the internet was an exercise in wasting your time. You literally went away and came back when that refreshed, right?
Yeah. So I think going in this path takes you to another level, which is about retention for a minute. Because we don't want people, the cost of acquisition of a customer, and then after a month, they're like, yeah, whatever. I got my promotional package. I don't need 11 more months of it. I think being the data people, imagine at the end of the year, we give you a look back. Here's your dog over the past year. And it shows them all of the AI photos and progression, because their dog changes. Like, we're not going to, in month 1, expect to use the same photo in month 8. The dog changed. Like, if it's a puppy, the dog doesn't look the same. You can keep uploading photos, right? At the end of the year, you get this cool thing. We'll assemble it. We'll do this all in AI. We'll assemble it. And they're going to get an email. And that email is going to show them all this cool, maybe it's a photo montage of there's something cool that's gimmicky that you get. And then if somebody says, I'm going to end my subscription, I've been a customer for 4 years, my dog died. What we're going to do is we're going to send them that compilation with best regard, our condolences, blah, blah, blah. Well, because we know they're going to get another dog. And when they get that other dog, they're going to remember, these guys were there for me. Look, they gave me this amazing montage photo thing when my dog passed away. Chewy and all these guys, they do stuff like that. When your dog dies, they send you with something nice. I think if we do the same thing, we become the digital version of that.
Well, remember I was telling you about my friend who was worked for Upper Deck. He was a photographer for Upper Deck. And then so, the better experience you can deliver, right, the better retention. So I think that I sent you a chart on the production, the micro production of each pouch. And we do have money in there set out for retention ongoing.
Yes.
And I think, when we get into the app itself, I went in and I put a news feed in. So every day the system scours and gives me 8 different dog related stories. Happy ones. I don't want to hear about the
Yeah.
SPCA having to raid someplace, right? And then I curate them and just release them. And the idea is it's a news feed, dog lovers news feed. And so I think incorporating those kinds of things into an experience around it, I think it's got to be part of our ongoing thing. The
Yeah.
technology will continue to evolve, and in order to continue to lead in what it is that packaging can deliver, we've got to keep an eye on what's happening.
So, Ruben, would you agree or disagree that if we step out of the second that we have a product to sell, we have to make money for the consumer through the consumer's eyes? I get it; these guys need to make money; they're a business, but we give them so many experience. So I'm going to give you an example instead of telling you what I'm thinking. Here's an example. So this company now, our company, basically every time there's a certain event, FIFA is so huge right now. We don't like soccer in the United States. Well, suddenly it's converting everybody. Everybody is suddenly. Well, so imagine this, because the game I play a couple games that make me relax on my phone, and it's slot machines, but they have all these themes and they change them every time there's a holiday. We now have pictures of everyone's dogs through the years if they stay with us. So instead of just thinking about we're going to apply that photo to the dog package, and maybe we'll give you something at the end of the year, the end of the month. What if it's not about that? Because that's just about the package so much. The package is the Trojan horse. What if every time there's something, right now, if it was FIFA, every one of our customers, let's just say in the US, they're going to get a photo, a great photo of the dog playing soccer or something, right? They didn't ask for it. They didn't buy anything else. It's just we sent it to them. If we become where we're sending them these things, it's all glue for retention. It's all glue for our brand, and it just is going to help us sell more. We become a content AI data play that just sells dog treats. It's just you got me here, Ruben. It's just that we deliver it via a dog treat subscription.
The thing about it, Larry, is what's exciting to me about the packaging idea itself is that once we do this, because to me we have to have an initial success, and I think we will with this, and people will say, okay, these guys now have some credibility because they've proven they can do it in one place or another. There's companies that have dedicated themselves to this type of experience, like Hallmark. Okay, and then there's brands that have been developed for this kind of experience, like Hershey's Kisses. Okay, and in both of those instances, you have organizations that have put a tremendous amount of money into something that is about this interaction, affection between two people. And so, being able to go to somebody like Hershey and say, you've spent 110 years building up this Kisses brand. I have the final connection between the two people, and I can do it digitally, and I can turn it on, and I have the credibility to do it because we did it with the dog treats. And I want to do the kind of licensing deal with you that's on more equitable terms, because to do it at a Hershey scale, you're going to need a certain amount of intelligent manufacturing that you have to set up, right? Somebody's going to have to quarterback this thing for you. You're going to have to innovate in areas where other chocolatiers haven't, like the shipping of chocolate around the United States without it spoiling. And nobody's really no one spent the time to crack that one. So yeah, I think it's a really interesting starting point, but it allows us to basically inject ourselves into different areas strategically.
So Ruben, you bet it all on that one part, which from the day I met you, I've been all in on that one part. A whole new digital manufacturing process that allows you to have personalization and understand that whole workflow. However, now what we're talking about is not only giving them that. If we just gave them that, a partner like Hershey's, it would be incredible because they're so behind. All these companies are behind. But what we're giving them in addition is a social media experience aspect to promote brand and promote product that they are so lost in doing. They just can't do this stuff well. So it's like you're giving them both. We're giving you access and building community and social content and experiences. At the same time, we're reinventing your entire digital manufacturing process. It's now from the start of a product being made all the way on to how do you get retention and people loving your brand. That is double the fun, man. That's double the money.
It is. It's exactly why this is a continuum that I will die before it finishes. I see my job as accelerating it through. This absence that I've had from the arena has cost me some time, and I've seen that the industry's really done nothing. Everybody that was a competitor in the industry has done absolutely nothing to further the data side of it.
The data
side. So, yeah, I think it's fabulous. The pandemic, sadly, was a leveraging point where drove people to e-commerce. AI now allows us to talk about a new technology that is changing things. I don't have to go into places and have them look sideways at me anymore. I can, it's tangible, yeah, I can prepare 1 million files in a day using AI. Okay, well before that was like, dude, really? Now, yeah, it's tangible, it's doable. So to me, I look at this as the further step is, what is the usage of data in a physical object? What is that medium point? If I look at something like lottery tickets, some of them have crossed that boundary. You have a QR code, you have a scratch and win, there's a physical side to it, there's a digital side to it. We used to get records and tapes and CDs, and the records came in the sleeve. There was art, album art.
Yeah.
CDs had a booklet in it, something that was the only information you got about the band, and because there was no internet, right?
Yeah.
So as we start to see what are the digital features that enhance packaging, and then what does that actually do to change the nature of a consumer product? I saw a YouTube video and the kid was complaining about the high cost of groceries, and he scans down into the cart, and I see readily there's a couple of like digital gift cards for video games. So I'm thinking, okay, well, if we're putting video game purchases in with your basket of groceries, then yeah, maybe we have inflation, hyperinflation. But thinking about it again, that is a grocery item now, isn't it?
That's probably one place you sell the most gift cards, right?
And I don't pretend to know what that feature is, right? I'll give you another one that just fabulous. It fascinates me because I heard who's Simon Sinek? Is it Simon Sinek, the guy he's a speaker, he's a business speaker. Simon Sinek, I think is his name.
I don't know the name.
Yeah, a real smart guy. But he was talking about, he did a thing in New York City, okay? So he saw a lady panhandling, and it was kind of like the same sign, give me money, give me money. So he thought, okay, what are the kinds of things that I need to understand about this market? So he talked to her, and Marcy. So he talked to her, and she said, I work here until I make $90, right? So he said, okay, how long does that take? She said, well, sometimes it takes, until noon, till 1, 2, 3, I'm here all day till I make $90. So he said, he started talking to people, he understood, okay, charity is interesting. It's people don't want to be bothered, like don't bother me too much and don't hassle me. But people do like to give, right? Yeah. And those are they also don't, so they don't want to be bothered and they don't want to feel like they have to give everybody. Right? So he drafted a message for her. He drew up a card, and the card said, if you only give once this month, think of me next time, right? And so he deflated the guilt element of it, okay? And people thought, okay, it's an interesting message. So he changed the sign for her, and she had raised her $90 by like 9:30 in the morning, okay? Of course, being who she was, she picked up and left for the day instead of working till noon and making 300.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the nature of it, right? But
yeah.
What the analysis of it was kind of interesting, okay? There is a chemical released in your body when you do something nice for somebody, okay? Giving to charity, doing this kind of thing, it releases a chemical in your body, not indifferent to what you might get an adrenaline rush from going skydiving, or you might just, from having a drink, you get a certain relaxation. So if you look at it in those terms, the person receiving your charity is providing you a service, that feeling of I did something good today.
Yeah.
And so it's in a very measured way. Now, if I start to factor those kinds of feelings into a consumer products decision and how that affects, let's call that an experience, right? I'm helping someone, they said thank you, or and it made me feel good. And I think it's really, really interesting to see what kind of experiences will come from that in the future. Using digital, using physical, using the reach of these things that I can now, whatever it is that I'm doing with this guy can do around the world, I can do with multiple people. We can decide to pool our collective minds, resources, whatever, to do it together, right?
Yeah.
And now, you'll go to someone's house you never met and arrive and spend a week on vacation there happily and leave them a note on your way out, and that everything was cool with your credit card. Unthinkable 40 years ago, without attorneys and escrow agents and Plan B and what the hell, all the rest of the stuff. And now, so I that's where I'm really excited about what that future is, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's the digital stuff going to bring that we don't even know yet, right? Photographing food, right? So suddenly, like this, how your food is presented on the plate became critically important in a restaurant environment.
Yeah.
And maybe you discounted it, okay? Well, but no, maybe you didn't, because there was still the fast food guys that, oh, look at the size of the portion. Look at the size of this burger. Look at this. So bringing that visual social sharing element to change the restaurant industry, you know?
Yep.
So what are those kinds of things? And then, you know, when we get out of later on in later episodes and stuff, we're going to talk about purchase necessary contests, because there used to be a fail-safe. Those are called lotteries. And
Yep.
I grew up in an environment where only the government does lotteries. But I think that area is fogged up now. Am I paying you if I'm giving you an endorsement product? If I'm giving you this, I'm giving you that. You know, I think I asked our lawyer, can I give shares in our public company to people who buy our product? And he was, you know, I don't know what that future is. I don't know what that interaction is. I suspect, 40 years ago, I'll go back 40 years, because kind of like the internet didn't exist and I was still young enough or old enough to have some conscious memory. The idea that someone could make a living, much less a fabulous living, just from being social and knowing people and capitalizing on who you know, right? That you could become a Paris Hilton or a Kardashian, or a homemaker, or someone who lives at home, doesn't have a career, but influences a few hundred people in a way that's measurable for them, whether you're a personal trainer or a dietitian, or the same thing that a doctor used to do. How many doctors can work this community? You need a doctor for every few thousand people. These were the kind of the metrics to it. This idea that there was this world where just putting the people together, and this was so I think it's really exciting. And I think as people gravitate to that and big companies don't want to hire anymore, everything's just leading into the same thing, which is, what are the different individual connections that I can make in different areas to try and get this going? And I think customization just allows people more and more of that, so yeah, I think it's really exciting. Okay, well, I'll tell you what.
That's interesting.
I'm glad that you showed me some click art, because my click art was really bad. That was my Star Dog opening.
I can't see it. It's too bright.
I know. What do I got to do? Bring down the brightness?
I think just don't bring it so close to the camera. It might be the lighting in your room. No, I can't see it. It's weird. It's so white that it's like too white.
Yeah, I know. It has like an opening screen. It has like a sign. Let me log out of it so I can sign in.
I see the Star Dog. I just can't see. Oh, it just has a star above it.
It's just weird that it doesn't show. On an angle, you can see it, right?
Yeah.
It's weird. Well, so it's like a sign-up screen, basically, initially. And then I go to the already have an account. Go through. So then it's got like a news feed.
Yep.
That's a news feed I was telling you about. But all the stuff is like cartoon art, right?
Yes.
It's taking the news feed and making an icon from it every time.
Yeah.
Instead of now, I could have grabbed kind of the photo from the news feed, but I chose to go this way. Then you can sign up your dog. I signed up a few different dogs. You choose one. That's where I want to have the pouch come up with a picture of the dog to show you what it looks like.
Yeah.
Go back. As you can see at the bottom, I put a few buttons on it. There's a home button. There's a gallery for different dogs that have uploaded their picture. Oops.
When you're building it, it's allowing you to specify the whole journey.
Everything.
From the question.
I photograph the dog. I upload a picture of the dog.
Yep.
Then it does. I choose and I come back with one. That's a gallery. So what I've done is, so then I can go. I can take a photo, or I can choose one. Right. I can take a picture of my dog and then upload. So what I can do, Larry, is I can take pictures of each screen and send them to you.
Screenshots, yeah.
And because what I did is I just tracked it through. Okay.
Yeah.
I went through and said, okay, what's your first thing? The first thing is a sign-up screen. Register your dog, and that's where it has a number of features. Like we put all the different types of dogs, like a scroll-down menu.
Yeah, yeah.
And we wanted, the idea was kind of give us as much information. If you're going to sign up to the portal right away for the subscription, it asks you for 5 different photos. Okay. And then you just register your dog. And then you go through and you select the kind of the kind of dog that it is, the treats, the number, the subscription, the different levels, and then you place your order and it sends you an email. So all of that's working, all the data's working, all the email back and forth, the capture of the image. On the phone, you take a picture of your dog and then it uploads. I haven't decided yet, and we have to decide together. The photo right now comes into our system. We grab it, it gets manipulated, and then we get different images back that we have to kind of fix. Okay, some of them might have a paw that's off or something, so there's a little bit of things that, and then we'll select one. Now, do we automate that? When will we reach the point where we can automate that and send somebody back a proof of what it will look like? Do we want to provide a proof, or is it just a surprise, right? And now in the context of what you just said, where a dog is incorporated into the branding, maybe there's an interim space there, right? Where here's what your dog will look like in the logo. That'll be the surprise monthly feature.
Yeah.
We could say, here's what your dog would have looked like with last month's feature in it.
So, but have you, I don't know if the AI is doing this with you, but is it wireframing the journey? Because even before you get to that, if I have two dogs, how did you address my two dogs in this gauntlet?
Yeah, you can actually enter as many dogs as you want.
It knows them, each dog separately.
You name them separately, you identify them individually, yeah.
And then if somebody wants their two dogs on the pack, not one.
Yeah, we don't have that yet. And you're saying a picture together, or to have one here and another one in another place?
I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm thinking about the use cases of,
so
I have two dogs.
I think we have to our North Star here has to be our minimum viable product, right?
Yeah.
What is our minimum viable product within our period of time, right? And we know we can add a million things to it. It'll never be the way we want it for launch, okay? The thing is, we want to get our minimum viable product out there and then begin to incorporate the feedback from the users as quickly as possible to hone in on what it is that's going to be the value point here. That's my thinking on it anyway.
So for now, if they have...
There is a couple of things. As you mentioned last time with the dogs and the cats and stuff, I do think, so we can debate the point back and forth. I do think it makes sense to incorporate it all together. But given where we are with the dogs, I think it's important to, so if we're going to do Star Dog, then we get Star Pets and Star Cats registered, but we focus on the dogs. We can add within the breed, we can do a cat special promotion that links out to it.
Yeah.
We could do it now, because there's a couple of nuances. Although there is a difference in the pet ownership percentage, where it differs a lot is the incidence of snacking and treats for dogs is much higher than for cats. And although but there are more multiple cat dwellings than there are multiple dog dwellings, it doesn't make up for the frequency of snacking.
Yeah.
So I know that doesn't answer the question we had, but I think the answer is we do it. We just do it as a secondary launch.
Well, for now, if I have two dogs and I give you a photo and my two dogs are together...
Yeah, you get them both.
You get them both. Our AI will do that. Whatever. It's okay.
Yep. Now the AI stuff, the ones that I showed you, I think our cost per bag on AI generation is about 25 cents. So we just got to keep that, and that's all in the numbers that I showed you. And I think it still makes a lot of sense to do. It's brilliant. We just got to make sure we're using the right software. And as we're doing more and more dogs and more stuff, I think we'll just develop a more finite elements to it. The proofing and the going through each dog and making sure there isn't something blatantly out there. That's an area we're going to have to debate a little bit as we go on. What constitutes something that we have to go in and address or reject and go back. So for us, it would be like, hey, that guy's got 6 fingers. Like, obviously, you need to do something there. But does Ruben's shirt look? I don't know. It's one of these debate points as we start to play around with the technology. Now, the good thing is that these are things everybody understands, right? We're not like the wedding photographers who are giving you shit that nobody else is, right? So to answer part of your question, going back, I can do whatever changes we need to. So if we identify that we want to, hey, here's an area where this is why we're talking about this, right?
Yes.
I did the flow based on what I thought the commercial elements of it would be, and logically getting on, signing up, placing the order, all this stuff. There's stuff I want to add. I'd like to do an AR layer to it. I'd like to do some other stuff. I think that's stuff we can launch, on the back of it.
Yeah.
Initially, we're producing an extremely high quality printed product that's customized and is very new. And I think that's sufficient for our MVP.
Agree. It's not letting me share my screen. So let me just go to it. So initially, I did a quick test, United States Trademark Office search, and we were clear with Star Dogs and Star Pets and all. Like, we were good. Amazing. I was somewhat shocked at that. In our category, we're fine. There's something else that wasn't in our category. I don't remember what it was. But then what I was going to share with you was, so Star Pets, all of these, I don't know if they're backwards for you, but starpets.ai is available. Star Dogs with a Z. So both of these with a Z. Star Pets with a Z at the end, .ai available. Star Dogs.ai available. Star Cats.ai available. Star Dogs with an S.ai available. They're all available. Just I don't know why they're available. A lot of people don't buy, people are still not mass buying AI.
Yeah.
But these are all available. They're $160 a year each if you buy 2 years or something. So we can get the domain names as
I
AI.
think it's worth doing, yeah, so I think it's worth tying up the three if we agree that it's going to be I don't want to exclude the catch. I think it'll come up at some point, and I think it's a big market.
Yeah, it's just, do we want this? I think the Z at the end gives a little bit of playfulness and makes it easier from a trademarking point of view versus an S. An S is going to be a generic. We're going to have to argue with the trademark office about it's a generic word. I don't know if I can give it to you, but with a Z.
No, I got you.
Yeah.
Do you want to see what plays in in artistically, what looks better? I like it. I like it with a Z, for sure.
I think the Z is the way to go, in my opinion. And we lock those down. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good. All right, so why don't we do this? I'm gonna print screen every screen and send it to you.
Yeah. But what I'm looking for just as much as that is, can it give, I don't know, when you're building it with Claude or whatever, can it give you a wireframe of your app?
Yeah.
Because I want to see the nav flows, the journey, because if you just give me a screen, I'll say, oh, graphically, I can give you this. But what if I can think about that wire
flows where you are, yeah.
There might be some other ideas. It's kind of like designing the app from scratch versus me doing a layer of design.
No, I agree. I mean, at the beginning, I had to keep telling it like this. To me, every screen needs to have a back button and a home button, right? Like, I'm lost. Take me home.
Yeah. And by the way, Ruben, are we going to, two things. Are we going to allow people to order outside of the United States?
I think so, as long as it doesn't complicate matters too much.
Okay, it complicates shipping a little bit, but not much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, the U.S. market is what we're after. Usually it's, so.
Because we can lock that down, and in the pilot, we only allow it in North America right now.
Yeah.
The second thing is, where is the app hosting all the images and all this when we go live? Where is
I'm using Supabase right now. I don't know who owns Supabase. I think it might be Microsoft.
And that is a permanent place that you can have your app hosted and all your data managed and all of our content there, but they allow you to export it out if we ever did not want to be with them.
Yeah, so I just went with them because they were the ones I was using with the programming in. It was working.
Yeah.
But if there's a better option, I'm totally listening.
I don't know the options. I just know that we need to make sure wherever it is. Imagine we have 50,000 customers and all their dog photos and data, and we want to leave.
Listen, I think we're probably into AWS land, right?
Correct.
So I think that.
Okay.
Why swim upstream?
Yeah, so three things I need from you. One is the screenshots and any kind of wireframe or nav flows of the app. That's first thing. I mean, if I can get into the app, we never were successful.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to redo that now because I have a little bit of time. So I'll send you some stuff.
So that's the first thing. The second thing I needed was, I still need the pouch itself.
Yeah, I've requested that multiple times. I'm going to get on them to the pouch die line.
The pouch die line. And then the third thing was, you were going to send me the Reg A. As it stands now, I want to know how much space, or did you want it just raw for me to give you a longer bio? I wanted to match the size of the bio to yours or whatever.
As much as possible. Okay?
So give you a full bio. Yeah. So working backwards towards, we should probably talk about, if that's not today, let's talk during the week. We should talk about working backwards from a launch date. What is everything from discovery, definition, design, and deployment, working backwards, so that, because certain things, I can give you a simple example. If I want to get us logo tape for the boxes, once we have a brand, we need to do the logo tape because that takes weeks to get logo tape. Just stupid things are going to come up that take us time. Even getting registered and going through the process of getting Stripe, sometimes there's hiccups in getting that system to work.
That's one of the things on our item. We should do that this week because I got a bunch of stuff to do there with Stripe because we're going to do the coffee and the herbal tea on the back of this. So
yeah, but you have to have a company set up in order to do the Stripe account and everything. So we need to get the legal stuff set up. We need to have a bank account set up after we have the legal stuff and the company name set up.
So I'm going to confirm that with John.
Yeah.
Because my first question is, are we using the subsidiary or are we using A1? So let me confirm that today. Okay?
That's a great point. Yeah. Which is it? I thought it's a wholly owned subsidiary, but the subsidiary stands on its own. But yeah.
Yeah. The more I'm thinking about it, I just think I don't know, just do it this way. But I'll get some confirmation. I'll get some advice.
Okay.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
Sounds good. Good talk today. Thanks.